Hello, YouTube viewers. How you doing today? This is the Electron Man. I just wanted to take a second at the intro of this video to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you can, please, please. Um, I have one channel or one video that has over 200,000 views, and if I'd had 10% of those people subscribe, I wouldn't have to be on here now. But ever since YouTube created the new rules to where you have to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of hours to be monetized, I have not been making any income, which kind of took my motivation away. And all I'm asking is, if you enjoy my content and you watch my videos, just take a second to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and I mean, I'd really like to get 1,000 subscribers and start creating a lot more content. I was really on the roll there for a while, but like I said, after the new rules, it kind of demotivated me, and hopefully you guys can pitch in and get me back to where I'm in that 1,000 subscribers or more, and I'll start creating more and more content. Anyway, have a good day, and please subscribe. That's all I'm asking. Hello, YouTubers. Well, guess what Santa brought me? Look at this big old box. Big old box. I believe I know what it is. Yeah, maybe because it says on the side of it. It's a Carbon Z Cessna 150 bind and fly. Well, I thought I'd do a little video of an unboxing and assembly of this neat little Xmas gift. Let's get started. I can't even fit that in the picture frame. Here she is. And let me get the lid off of this and see what we got inside. Okay, now I got it out of the box. It's still in the foam packing. As you can see, here's the main spar. We got a hardware pack over here, the wheels. Hardware bag here. Let me go ahead and I'm not going to go through videotaping me pulling it all out, but I'll get it all pulled out and cut out of here, and we'll come back whenever I got all the parts out of the foam enclosure. Okay, well, I got it all out of the box now. That was a job in itself. This is a 4-foot round table, and you know what they don't show you on some of the other videos is I've got a decent sized room here, and this thing's going to engulf it. You really need a lot of room to put this thing together. Basically, there's the cowling, there's the motor, there's the tail section, the other part of that, your struts, your propeller, your front wheel, your 2 back wheels, your rudder has, your hardware bag, your wings, your owner's manual, your sticker, and then here's the fuselage right here, which is too big to put on the table. Basically, that's what I got out of the box. It looks like definitely a several hour endeavor to put together. I'm going to figure out how I want to do this as far as videoing it. I'm not going to have the room, and I thought I was going to be able to do it. So I'm sure I will start with a fuselage. I'll open the manual, obviously, and start with installing the motor and the landing gear, and get the fuselage put together first. So I'll probably move all this off the table and concentrate on the fuselage and getting the landing gear on it and that stuff, and then obviously we'll get to the wings and the rest of it, because then I can have a model that'll set up on the table and assemble the rest of it. But there you go. There's what an unboxing of a Cessna 150 looks like. There is a lot to it, and it is big. That fuselage is definitely, I'd say, close to 5 foot long. This is a huge model. I'm looking forward to getting in there. Well, let me get set up here and I'll start putting it together. Okay, well, what I like to do when I'm building the build is I got these little cases. You can get them over like a Harbor Freight. But I like to break all my parts out and organize them. It makes it a lot easier when you're building instead of dropping screws on the floor or not being able to sort the bags out. So I just separate everything out individually into these little storage bins like this, so as I go along with the build, I don't have. Okay, according to the instructions, the first thing you want to do is the landing gear. Got my, not sure if that's the right size. It is. Okay, so according to this, we want to take, and we've got a plastic piece here. Got this plastic piece here that sits on that, which covers it like that. And then we want to take our landing wheels. Obviously, you have them pointed forward. Now proceed to put 6 screws in there. Just a reminder, use the long set of the 0.3 or 3 size 3mm size screws, not the shorter one, like I foolishly did. But back to, you just put these 6 screws in here. Nothing complicated about it. Okay. Main landing gear complete. Just like that. Okay, next we move to the nose gear. Right here. Look at the instructions real close and see what we got as far as you have this rod that connects the landing gear right here, this long rod, and then you have a retainer that you put on it. Goes to the landing gear with a nut and washer, which is going to be in this hardware set right here. Okay, after you get that little screw mounted on there, which was kind of a pain for me, in the older vision and everything else, it's hard to get that little thing to thread, but then you feed this wire up through that cavity right there. It's a little tight at the end here. And she slides in just like that. And then you take the 2 screws, which, let's see what size they are and which ones they are. 3x 12mm. And they go down in these 2 holes right here. Again, apparently I don't have the right size. So now I gotta try to figure that one out. Little tip, always keep some of these little neon dawn magnets around. They're sure handy when you need to, look at that, fish a screw out of there. And also, you just stick it on there to really hold the screw steady for you. on the end of a non-magnetized item as I have here, Allen wrench tool. And I'm assuming this bag with two that are a little bit smaller thread are the correct ones. I wish they'd label the bags a little bit better. They individually packed all the screws nice, but their pictures are not to scale, so you can't use that to reference it. So you're kind of playing a guessing game here with the screws. Fortunately, there's not that many with the kit that I can't just sort through them. They don't feel right either. What's the deal here? They go up here, two screws that hold the front landing gear go up in the front. On the inside, not the outside. Those two screw holes were deceiving because there's already screws in them. Just going to check that. But there you go. Okay. Landing gear is now installed, or front landing gear. Now that I fed that rod through here, they have the stuff in the way. You can't stick your hand down there, and I'm supposed to somehow magically be able to install that. Well, back on the front wheel, that sucked. I ended up having to, cutting that L they had off of it and putting me a normal connector, snap connector on there, and that sucked. Trying to get inside with your hand inside of there to snap that connector was just totally impossible. I tried for over an hour and it just got me frustrated to no gun. So I ended up going to my pile of RC stuff and just finding one of these, and I cut the rod off. It's not threaded, but I went ahead and scuffed it up and used some epoxy and put a real snap connector on, which what they should have done. They should have never had it with the stupid L bend with a snap where it's at. I mean, on the outside, I'm fine with those type of locks, you know, to where it snaps around the rod and it hooks on the bottom piece of the metal. But inside of there, you can't get your hand in there, and you know, I tried and I could never be satisfied that it was secure. So, like I said, I ended up cutting this off. So I'm gonna go back and reinstall the wheel. Well, good news now. That one, after I did my little modification down there, you can see on that controller horn, I was able to snap it right on, nice and secure. You know, I could have thought of a couple ways I could have done it. They could have done it with the one that bolts to the servo that a rod goes through and you got a tightening screw. That to me would have been the best way to center the wheel. Because by the way, the rod was all not the right length when I first put it in there, and I had to adjust the turnbuckle on the wheel side of things. To me, that was just not somebody thinking ahead. I mean, simply, you know, they have them, most modelers know, it's just a round piece that's got the rod that goes through it with a screw on the top to tighten the length that the rod will slide through, and then it bolts to the bottom of the servo, or through the servo arm. And that way you could have just shoved the rod through there and then just centered the wheel and tightened the screw on top. And if you ever needed to adjust the wheel, you'd be able to get in there and adjust it. That was just, I don't know if they were trying to save 20 cents or what, but poor design. I wasted about 2 hours on that. This should have been a 2-hour build. Instead, I spent about 2 hours on that silly thing. But anyway, I quit ranting about that. Nice thing is now I've got her down to where now she's on her wheels, and a lot easier for me to work on her now. The rest of it should go pretty fast. The next thing we'll be doing is we'll be installing the motor. Looks like that's going to be pretty much a simple thing. I already ran the wire out for the front lighting of the, because this is, by the way, this model has LED lighting on it, which I think is pretty cool. But other than that little snafu and that not naming the bags real well as far as which length of screws, it's hasn't been that bad of a build. We'll continue on. Okay, the next process we're going to be doing is installing the motor right here. You'll need these big screws here. The biggest ones in the package as far as hardware. And they have a little bit of Loctite on them as well. Get those out. There's 4 of them. Get the right island size head. Which is a 3.0. Okay. Take the motor, line it up. I'm assuming just actually, let's run the wires through there. Set the motor in there, and then hide your Allen wrench up, right up the hole. And get to installing it. I'll run the first one in. Not all the way, but somewhat snug. And repeat this process 3 more times. Just snug them up a little bit by hand. Okay, they're all snugged up. Okay, next thing will be the cowling. Okay, next will be the cowling, which basically it's got 2 screws that go here and here that install, as you can see, through the plastic piece right there and right there. It's got 1 wire that goes for the lights that are mounted right here and here, which of course will be red to red and black to black. Let's go ahead and plug that in. Neatly stuff your wires in there like that. Sure I'm not crimping them or anything. And then you use a 0.5 5 Allen wrench. Get it here. And just put one screw there. These are more like a wood screw because they're just screwed in that plastic piece. And another one goes in here. Like that. They say the next thing to do is install the prop, but actually I'm going to hold off on that because I'm still debating on whether I want to put a wood prop on it or what prop I want to put on it. Then and I'll be setting it up and stuff, and I just soon not have the prop on it while I'm setting everything else up. It's just a hazard. There's no reason to have it hooked up to the last thing, so prop will go last. Next thing we'll move on to is the sail section. Okay, my next step is going to be installing the as they call them C8 hinges, and as you can see there's 4 of them here, and they already are pre-glued from the factory, one half, but the other half has to go into the slots along the back of this. Personally, my choice of glue for this is Gorilla Glue. You have to be sparingly with it because it likes to expand, but I find with the CA glue it tends to run in places I don't want to, and this is a lot more controllable, and it dries a little slower. But you just want to use a real bit. You actually want to wet the hinges down a little bit because Gorilla Glue actually likes to activate with water, which I've already pre-wet these down. But as I'll show you here, I put a very, very light coat of Gorilla Glue on the hinge. The reason I like this is I promise you, it is a very permanent connection for these top hinges, because it likes to expand, and it really adheres good to foam. This is a really good choice. But as you can see, I lightly, very lightly, I only put it on about half the hinge because I don't want it to get down into the actual swivel part of it. I just put it on there lightly, and then this should just slide in here. And you also have this LED light at the top here, but we'll deal with that here in a second. First, let me get this hinge installed in here. And like I said, it's already pre-slotted, so it's just a matter of finding those pre-slotted holes. There's 3 of them. There we go. As you can see, and I have them in there. What I'm going to go ahead and do, and I'll push it. I kind of move it around a little bit to make sure all the glue is covering it real good. But okay, now then I'll just let that set for it'll expand and dry. It'll fully dry in about 2 or 3 hours, but working time, if I give it about 20 or 30 minutes, it'll have it adhered to where I can go ahead and move on to my next part of this. But you just want to make sure that hinge is nice and gapped right and pushed all the way together. So for right now, I'll let that set, and then we'll come back and I'll install the LED light here. And there's a little plastic cover that goes up here on this area, right up here at this top area, and we'll go ahead and get that installed. And that's just for this LED light here. And it's got like a little cutout here that you can put the wire in. Well, that'll be the next thing we do. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be doing is gluing this on, which basically if you look down in there, you just take and push that LED light in that little socket there as best you can. Looks like I gotta actually get it in there a little deeper. And once you got that light bulb pushed in there, then you're just going to take some adhesive and lightly adhesive this area here for this little bracket to go here, which again I'm going to be using Gorilla Glue, but CA or your adhesive of your choice would work fine. As you can see, I use it pretty sparingly again, and then I'll just spread it around here. Sides good enough. Essentially all you're doing is just tacking this on here. Like so. The excess off there. Actually, it might be room to put a little piece of tape here. It's kind of wanting to stick good to me there. I'll put a piece of tape here. It also comes with this red piece of sticker here, which you can cover your wires right there. You can cover those wires with that. In fact, I'll go ahead and put that on real quick. Peel this sticker back. I just kind of, there's a little groove there, and I just kind of tucked it in that groove. Since you're going to be covering with this, you don't have to be too exact. Just want to make it to where when you put the sticker on it, it's nice and smooth. And then I'll just lay that over there. And it looks like that little sticker is going to not want to stick on that edge there, so just trim that off. We'll play with that. There you go. Now you can see covers the wires up nice and neatly. It is wanting to pull that a little bit on the top there. I think I'll give you a piece of packing tape for. Well, the only thing you have to be careful with packing tape is sometimes it likes to pull the paint off of the what do you want to call it. I happen to have some red, so I think this to be on the smart side of things. I'll make sure that I'm nice and even at the top as well. Put a little piece there to ensure that it doesn't pull out. There we go. And that right there takes care of my light and the wiring and the tail. And as you can see, we're all glued here. Okay, the next item we'll be working on is the tail feather, or the elevator. And basically I have this carbon fiber rod which will slide through this predefined hole here, and then you'll have your two elevator hats here. And if you look at the elevator hats, you have these square things that will interlock like that. See, like that. So then basically you take your halves and you'll slide it on the tube here, here, and slide it in like that, two bottoms out. And like I said, you want to make sure in his it will hook into this piece. So then you'll take and slide your other half in, put it on that hole there. loops. Until you have the two slid together like that. And now you can see, you know you got it right whenever I can move one side, it moves the other. So, and I've got a little piece of plastic connected here. And then all you have is, on the bottom side, you have two screws. Well, bottom side you have two screws. That'll be a screw hole there and a screw hole there. You get my screws for that and screw those in. And that's all you have to do for the rudder. That, and you'll be hooking up your rod here, control rod, which I could probably do that right now. Oh no, it's going to be another one of the bolt through nuts, but a nut and washer. Then it'll be, you'll hook this up with your nut and washer as provided in the kit, and you'll have the two screws there and there. And that will be all there is to the elevator. Make sure that it's nice and stably pushed in there. Okay, let's get those two screws and then we'll move on to the next section. And then you have your two screws on the underneath that put your tail together. There's one screw on each side, right there and there. You want to make sure that's what secures your elevator, your tail on. And that's how you bolt up the elevator. You just run the little small screw, and then you want to use one of them, I call them self-locking nylon nuts. And that's for the elevator, and we'll do the same for the rudder. And then you do the same with the rudder, as far as run your bolt through with your nylon nut and lock it onto the ball link on the rudder. That gets the control surfaces connected to the back. So really now all that's left to do is to plug the wings in and put the battery on. Oh, we do have to put the propeller on, but I'll put the propeller on very last because I want to plug the wings in and set the radio up. And we sure don't want the propeller hooked up when I'm setting up the radio, just for the case of for some reason the engine started up inside the shop. But basically, so really the last thing we're going to do is installing the battery and programming the radio.